this tutorial, we'll look at how to create a new report with Report Builder. In Access 2007 and higher, select the Add-ins and then OpenGate Report Builder. From here, we'll create a new report definition. Provide a title for the report and the data source. And I can add a logo to my report. The category is completely optional and just allows you to categorize your reports in the list. You can select from any that you've already provided or type one. The style is something you can either define or customize an existing style. Under the footer options, you can enter any kind of text you might want, as well as whether you want to see the date and time in the footer and a record count. As I click Next, I choose which fields I want to be in my report. I don't have to do them in any specific order at this time. At any time I can preview what my report will look like, but I'm going to wait until I get a little bit further on in the process. Now here, if you happen to have something like related information in another table, Report Builder will try to detect, based on the relationships in your database, what other tables might contain information you would like to display. If you choose any here, they will be shown in a sub-report. So Report Builder will automatically generate a sub-report to list the details. Now here I have all the fields I selected, and I'm able to set the captions as I'd like to see them. So as an example, I probably want to remove the dashes from the names. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to group my data by product family. Okay, so I can select the group by. At this point, it is then going to group by this information, and since I am grouping it, I want to remove it up to the top so that it's the first thing that appears in the report and everything is grouped by that. Now I can click the Group, Sort, and Setup, and I can indicate whether I want to see just a header for this group, a header and footer, or just a footer or nothing. And then I can indicate whether I want to have a page break after each group. Sort by default would be A to Z, and whether I want a record count at the bottom of each group. So now I can click Preview and take a look at what this is going to be. And it's telling me that I'm only going to see a small percent of the total records in my preview report. And here we go. So I've got my products and the listing here, and I can also see I might want to increase the size of product name. Now note here is the group by is by the product family. So the product family is displayed as well as each individual product name in that group. So I can expand the size of these fields, shrink them as needed. So as an example here, I can say that I want the product status to be status, and I want to shrink that down so I've got a little bit more room for my others. And I can see the total record count for the report as well as for this group. When I click Save and Close, I come back to this screen. Now there's a couple other things here, and some of those are formatting. So by default, it's going to try to follow what your formatting is in the database. But list price, as an example, I might want to be currency with no decimals, unit of measure. In this case, I don't have any options for that, but I can choose the different ways I want the formatting to go for each of these. Another powerful feature for Report Builder is the ability to take something like a lookup field that's actually coming from a different table, the values, and to be able to grab the values and put those in the report. So as an example, if I have supplier, which is actually held in the supplier table, if I click Advanced Settings, you can see in this lookup values, it's actually added the SQL that is in the database that knows to go look at the supplier table. If you haven't set up relationships in your database, however, this field will be empty. And so I'll walk you through what that looks like. You have to click on the wizard, go locate the table that contains the lookup values. In this case, in this database, it would be table vendor. And I'm going to add the key field, which is what is stored in the products table, as well as the field that displays the text value. And basically that's inserted the exact same thing that Report Builder knew because it was already defined in the database. But if you don't have your relationships defined between these tables, that's something you'll need to do. And this also has some other advanced properties like allow the field to grow, display a total here as well, and then the display format again. Now this last part is the optional filtering. So I could decide to filter by a specific date range for this report, or limit the total number of records, or build my own custom filter. Okay, so I might want to say I want to hide all the inactive products or any that fit certain criteria. So in this case, I wanted to show products that are for sale. So I will make that true, and it automatically adds that into my criteria here. And at this point, it's ready to create my report. It's generating the report. And now I can see it here in the preview mode. And I can always go back and make edits in the definition for the report. As an example here, I'd probably want to change some of the header sizes. And I can click back to edit. And as you can see here, I can change some of the styling if I wanted to, and you don't have to go back and rewrite the report. It will just update that based on my selections.